This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
And Tunde! What a goal! It's absolutely world class from Marcus Tunde! Wrestling against Jones. Get in! A terrific goal! Is there time for a winner? Is there it is? Josh Witness!
Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Wednesday Week. Hello from the other side of Dish, and my name's Dan Fudge, and joining me tonight, I've got Adam from Leicester Fan TV. Adam, you all right, buddy? How's it going?
All good, thanks, Dan. Thanks for having us on your channel, mate.
My absolute pleasure, my absolute pleasure. Now, I'm not going to take you too long, but this is where we delve into the other side in...
Hello from the other side.
Yeah, the production value is not bad, is it, Adam? Like, you know what I mean?
That's banging.
Now, listen, good afternoon, good evening, welcome to the show. Now, Christ, not a bad season for you guys. And as Sheffield Wednesday are going through a bit of a tumultuous time, and we are absolutely. I was going to refer to us earlier on as coupon busters, but every now and again we might get a point, or we might get, we might score, and we might be coupon busters in the wrong way. But talk to me about Leicester City. I mean, you've come down from the Premier League, which did surprise many. I don't particularly think you played badly going down, and I genuinely thought there were three worse teams than Leicester in that league. I mean, what happened? How did that come about?
Yeah, your guess is good as mine, Dan. I didn't think that at the start of the season I would never have thought we would have got relegated. That's for sure.
But then again, Adam, I didn't think you were going to win the bloody Premier League either. So you know what I mean?
You and me both again, Dan. But I mean, obviously after winning the FA Cup, we had the highs. I didn't think we'll be like you said. There was three worse teams than us in that division. I just think Rodgers lost the changing room, mate. As daft as it sounds. I mean, there weren't a plan B. There was always a plan A. What didn't work, we got found out, and unfortunately, mate, we find ourselves where we are now.
I mean, it looks like it's on paper right now going to be a bounce back season. We've seen West Ham do it and Newcastle over the last couple of decades and that type of thing. But and there's a lot to be said about doing that in terms of getting your finances in order and getting a few players off big meaty contracts and stuff like that. Especially with the way that parachute payments work right now. We've seen it with teams like Norwich that can actually really help a team, but they can't seem to maintain, Premier League survival. I mean, so let's talk about Leicester this season then. Are there a few positions that you're looking at thinking we're a bit weak there, and if we move up, we're going to do that? Have you already started doing those maths already?
Yeah, I think you're totally right, Dan. Yeah, I think like midfield, obviously with Winks, he's back to play you tomorrow night. Not tomorrow night, sorry, Wednesday night. However, midfield looks a bit weak. Ndidi's obviously said he wants to come out and he wants to leave. So that's another position we've got to look at. I mean, Hamza's filling in at the minute. Is he a Premier League player? Possibly not for me. I mean, he was on loan at Watford last year, so in the Championship. And at the back, mate, I think we need some more at the back as well. We're obviously relying on the likes of Vestergaard, who never even got an appearance for us really in the Prem, which is bizarre because he's been amazing this year. Yeah. So, I think there's plenty of options. And then obviously the one you boys would want to know as well is Vardy. How many seasons has he got left in his legs?
Well, he seems to keep producing it. And like we've been sat there going, he'll come for one final hurrah. He'll come back for one final season. We'll get him at some point. And then he just carries on scoring goals, doesn't he? I mean, so if I get up your starting 11 against was it Watford you played last?
Yeah.
Have I got that right? It seems ages ago now since I saw football. But I mean, are we going to look at a changed team there? You mentioned Vestergaard. Is he going to come back? Is he out? I mean,
I think he'll come back in.
Shit.
I mean, I think he'll come back in. I think he'll drop Chowdhury out there, mate, and he'll bring Winksy back in. And there might be a possibility where he drops Iniacho out and brings Vards in. So after his 2 goals for us. So That should be nice.
Yeah, that
For
that
us.
would yeah, we'd really enjoy that, and it'd be interesting to see because we've seen him score against Sheffield United a couple of times, and he genuinely enjoys that. And then when he gets one against like Leeds or something like that, he really enjoys it. But if he bags a couple against us, I kind of want to see what his reaction's going to be because his I was going to say his allegiance. I mean, he's very much Leicester City's player, and that's where he's carved his name out and all the rest of it. But I don't think he'd shithouse as much as what he does against the Blades, is I guess what I'm saying. So let's talk about this season then. So, losing Maddison early doors and things like that, do you not feel like you've filled that position that he does?
100%. When he first went, I thought, mate, what are we going to do? He was pivotal in the Prem for us and whatnot. And we signed Winksy, mate, and he's incredible. I reckon he's so much underrated. You wouldn't believe. I mean, he never really got a chance much at Spurs. Went out on loan, I think, a couple of times. And then obviously we signed him after Madders. And mate, he's done great for us. I mean, I think he's played every game apart from the last game we just played, which is a good start.
Well, that's gonna be fun for us because so what happened was there's a weird bit where you first come up out League One and then you first go down into the Championship. It's a completely different experience. I mean, we were looking at our squad going, Christ, we need a new team, and you're sat there thinking, Christ, how do we keep hold of our our big names, our big players on the big contracts and things like that. And like you look at you look at teams like Southampton, who I think turned down initially a bid from West Ham for about 35 million quid for Ward-Prowse. It was for James Ward-Prowse, and then he went for best part of 40, and then I think Maddison went for 40 million quid as well from you guys, and we're sat there looking at our team going, well, 500 grand might be a bit of a stretch for us lads, you know what I mean? So, but like with Saints, when we played them the first game of the season, there's that weird month where you've still got Premier League teams, you've still got a Premier League squad. And they absolutely passed us off the park, albeit, our now since departed manager had signed a lot of dross. We'd not betted them in, and they strung together best part of 700 passes in a 90-minute period. Do you feel like the quality of the football is still there, even though you've gone down?
Yeah, mate, I really think it is. Well, I mean, especially with the manager we got in charge coming from Pep's number 2. He's installed some good football in us, especially the passing game, the possession game. That's what we like. I mean, there is bits in the Championship where you can see it, just play the ball over the top, where Premier got more time and you can play the pass you want to play, but obviously they charge you down a bit quicker in the Champ. So but I think we've adapted well. I mean, did I think we'll be up there? Yes, I did, not gonna lie. Did I think we'd be playing this sort of football? No, I didn't. So it's a much different change from the Brendan side of it to the Enzo side. So I think I'd rather see the Enzo side. So I think it's done us, justice by going down. To be honest, Dan.
Well, I tell you what, let's talk about Brendan Rodgers actually, because I've been in and around football for a lot of years, and I've never really rated him. He's one, for example, when people talk about Pep. And they go, well, the geezer's never really had a challenge. He was managing Bayern Munich and Barcelona and Man City, and he's had a charmed life. But somehow he's turned Man City from a very good team into an absolute world-class team. So you can look at him and go, all right, fair, he's absolutely brilliant. But Brendan Rodgers seems to inherit good teams and somehow makes them pish for a couple of years, and then moves on with a big wedge of money in his pocket. Like, how was that period for Leicester City?
I agree, mate. When he first came in, obviously from Celtic, I was on the fence. I was like, it could go either way. It could be great, could be shite. But and it was that. I mean, we had the high times with Rodgers when we went to Southampton, smashed them 9-0. Won the FA Cup, and then we had the low times, obviously, and Rodgers got us relegated. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I reckon on a Leicester perspective, we probably should have sacked him earlier and brought Dean Smith in a lot earlier. To be honest,
Yeah, it was
there was a lot more passion there.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's that phrase that pundits tend to use about sleepwalking to relegation, and that kind of happened with Leicester a little bit, didn't it?
100%, mate. Yeah, I mean, obviously when Smith come in, you could see the boys reacted. Last game of the season, we needed to win. We beat West Ham at home. And West Ham were on a good run at the time, and I think they won. Was it the Conference League that year? Europa.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
To me, you've beat a team that's just won a trophy. So. I just feel it was a little bit too late for when we brought in old Shaky and Smithy, to be fair.
Yeah, Dean Smith is, he knows what he's doing. He's one of them that when he goes to other championship teams and the lower end of the Prem, you kind of look at him and go, "Oh, I won't mind him. I won't mind him." But then again, I said the same about Steve Bruce, and that went to shit for us relatively quickly. So what I've got here, I've got a screen grab from BBC Sport at the top of the league. I mean, Leeds United have now found their feet after a bit of a shaky start. You'd argue, given the way that yourselves have gone romping up there, and Southampton seem to drop a couple of points. But in terms of the form table, Southampton are looking a bit sharp. Ipswich have been a bit of a. I was going to say, well, with Ipswich, they signed really well in January in their at the back end of their League One promotion. And they did really well. And the annoying thing is they've got a couple of RX players at the top of the bloody championship right now, which is quite frustrating. But is there anybody on there that you've kind of played and you're thinking, I'll tell you what, they're going to sneak in there. They're going to get in. Like Blackburn Rovers always flatter to deceive for me. They've got the makings of potentially being great and then shit in the bed with about 3 or 4 weeks to go, right?
You took the words out of my mouth, Dan. I was just about to say Rovers are the team to watch. I mean, we spanked them. I think we beat them 4-0 away, I think.
Yeah.
But they still looked sharp, mate, very sharp. If I had to pick another team, the Baggies, mate, are the team I've been keeping an eye on.
Yeah.
They had a poor start. And again, look at the table. They're in 5th place with a great record. 1 loss in 5, which ain't bad at all. So I think Baggies are the one to watch. For sure. I mean, I would have said Birmingham in the time, but obviously we've seen what Rooney's done to that club, so say no more.
Well, we played Birmingham last game, and it was one of them where we fluffed our lines a little bit. They were there for the taking somewhat, and given the way our season's gone, it was quite indicative of how you'd expect it to go. You know what I mean? It was a little bit like, yeah, of course. And normally this is the bit of this segment where I go, is there anybody that you look at our squad that might cause an upset? But given the way the league's going, you must be sat there thinking this is going to be an 8-0 again. This is going to be a mega result.
No, mate, not at all. I mean, I've got, I don't know. I've got a feeling about this game, mate, and I just feel Sheff Wednesday will come out and they'll put us under pressure quite early on. I mean, if you get the first goal, it's anyone's game, I feel.
Well, we managed to take a point off of Leeds, one we just didn't deserve whatsoever, and that was in that early part of the season where they still had a decent squad before a lot of their players departed. So that was a weird one to get in terms of the points we've got. That's quite a big scalp, that 1 point. But there is an element, isn't there, of if we knew how football was going to go, we'd be millionaires every week, right?
Exactly that.
Oh God, normally I'd ask you for a prediction or ask you about who to watch, but I'm kind of numb right now because there's an element of right, and you were saying it just then, right, and I feel like we've got a new coach in Danny Hrul, and he's come from a decent background. Like you've got a number 2 from a top end coach, so have we now. But the issue is, our Spanish manager at the start of the season signed a load of shite, and he's genuinely trying to make a purse out of a sow's ear type of thing. So we've got that, but there might be an element of, because you play nicer football, he might understand the game of football you play rather than trying to smash a draw out against Birmingham City, for example, right?
I agree, mate. I reckon, obviously, I think it's a game for you boys, especially the way we play. We'll give you time on the ball as much as you give us time on the ball. So I think if I have to give a scoreline, Dan, I don't think it'll be a walk in the park at all. I think if Leicester do win, it probably be by the odd goal. I just feel like you'll use this as a cup final, if that makes sense.
We've got a lot of them left.
You need the points, mate. I think this is a great example for you boys to go out there and prove that you can stay up, and you need the point. So
I don't know. I get what you're saying. I just feel like there might be an element of, there was a point where Munoz had lost the dressing room, and trying to rebuild any semblance of we're okay to be in this league, we should be in this league, is really difficult. And every now and again we get a glimpse of it, and then our defender or our goalkeeper will drop his ass, and then all of a sudden that first goal goes in, and you think, well, this is going to be another 6, this one.
I mean, the player I'm looking forward to watch, mate. I don't know if he's playing. Is he Barry Bannon?
Yeah, Bannon's well, he's by far and away our most technically gifted player. You know, it was weird because when we signed him around the era that we did, where we got the playoff final to get to the Premier League, he was surrounded by a lot of very good players for that level.
Yeah.
So as time's gone on and things have happened and players have moved on, he's like the last one of that guard. And for me, Bannon should have been the bare minimum if we were going to kick on from that game. And we just kind of haven't done it. We haven't really got a caliber of player like that again for what, best part of 7-8 years now. So I'm finding it quite difficult. But with Bannon, he's not the battling midfielder. When we had Sam Hutchinson next to him in his prime, smashing everybody next to him, that was a great bit. That was lovely to watch. But I feel like he's trying to do a lot of work, and I feel like he's not got the support around him. But I'd be intrigued to see him in and around a midfield that kind of plays a higher level of football. I feel like it's more his game, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%.
So right, I need to talk about Jamie Vardy for a bit. Like, so how old is he now?
It's got to be, I think he's 37, Dan. Top of my head, 37.
Christ almighty. Honestly, just watching him makes my knees hurts now. You know what I mean? So that swan song that we've all been waiting for is probably going to be in his early 40s by the time it happens, and it's going to be about a month-long loan when he's 41. I can see that happening. But do you feel like this season, because Premier League teams play with a higher line, and we've all seen Vardy beat that offside trap and leave players behind. Do you feel like the Championship isn't as suited to the way Vardy can play?
That's good. Yeah, 100%, mate. I mean, obviously, I think Championship going more man for man in the defensive line. So Vardy ain't really getting the space to get him beyond, if that makes more sense to you. I think that's why Iniacho's more started. He holds up the ball more for us, and he can and people can play off him. So I feel, Vardy ain't had as much game time as what I thought he would have, being the club captain. But like you say, it's a different ball game done in that league.
Yeah, and I feel like the the defense camping on the edge of the 18 might not suit him a little bit. But that season where you won the league, and I remember him specifically scoring a goal from Christ knows how far away. Was it against Liverpool or something?
Liverpool on the half volley.
Yeah, he's just gone, sod this, I'm going to have a bang. That for me was the epitome of a striker, just high in confidence, just ready to slap a goal in and just go, sod it. I'll give it a go. I'm Jamie fucking Vardy, do what I want. You know what I mean? But like, have you got any players like that right now that are in that type of confidence, in that type of mood? Ones that are just having a really good time in this league, ones that are enjoying it, or is the pressure of trying to get straight back out of the league kind of overwhelming a little bit?
I think a bit of both, mate. I mean, we signed Mavadidi this year, class player out wide. He's one to watch on Wednesday for sure. Very tricky on the wing, quick feet, got a lot of pace. Dewsbury Hall, as you all probably know, had a great season in the Prem. But for us, mate, to be honest, I just want to get out of the league. So I'm not probably if a player has a shit season. Let's just get out of this league.
we were the same in League One, like, you know what I mean?
It is, isn't it?
Just absolute levels, and there's all this happening. We're like, yep, that was a good win against Exeter or whatever. I don't give a shit. Like, can we just get out of this league so I ain't got to go to Exeter again? You know?
And it's true. It's how you look at it sometimes in football. It's like just get out.
Yeah, it's a nice problem to have, to be fair, Adam. Like, you know what I mean, where you are. But let's go back to the league again. And just looking around, is there anybody that you think might fall away? If I put it back up again, there you've got. I mean, Preston had a great start. I think Leeds and Southampton will challenge Ipswich, but they've got like a good 7-point gap there. I don't know where the bloody hell they're pulling these wins from. But I mean, that's the top 10 there. Preston can't keep that up, can they?
I wouldn't have thought so, mate. I mean, if I had to pick again, Dan, I'd say Ipswich will tail off, mate. I really do. Yeah. I just don't think they've got enough in depth in squad to challenge for that amount of games. I mean, we're near enough halfway now, mate, and obviously the table don't lie when you get to Christmas, is what they say. But have they got enough in the tank, mate, to go the season and stay there? Especially like you say, when Leeds are picking up victories, Southampton are in there. I just can't see it, mate. I can't see it.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean, but like, so one last question then before I go. It's not fair, this parachute payment stuff, is it? It's not fair. Is it?
I'd love to comment, Dan, but time's up, mate.
Hey, listen, appreciate your time, Adam. It's been an absolute
No
pleasure.
worries.
Stay on the line. See you in a bit.